Got a few more days of that block of data to get wiped, so nothing quite like doing these videos whilst we go for a walk with the dogs in the Arvo. Tanky, a Maserati, and we've got the kittens coming for a walk too. It's amazing. I never thought in my life I'd end up with two bloody cats. I've got 3 cats. Do you think I'm a cat person? No, they just... The white one that's coming, I saved his life when he was 3 weeks old. Just bloody cool story, that one. Taught me a lot about life. It actually taught me that electrolytes are the key to most serious issues. If you can't fix it with that, you've got a problem. You'll go to the vet and they'll be like, you got option A, option B, and it's like, right, let's cut the bullshit. What's the real option, free of all the garbage? And they're like, cool, electrolytes. Anyway, because typically once they get dehydrated, the brain's ability to be able to do the repair work that it needs to can't happen. So electrolytes allows your, it's like a reset button. It allows things to work again. Back to it. Aren't they gorgeous? Why I would have to take a picture of it taking a piss all of a sudden. Anyway, today's video. I spoke about it in yesterday's video, surrendering your life over to God. And of all the people that could have done it, I had every reason in my existence not to. Like, I copped the royal special spiritual treatment, the royal treatment. All the top-notch esoteric, spiritual, occult knowledge that you can think of, got the inside information of it. All the cool weapons and tools of warfare, everything, copped the whole lot of it. And it's a bit like, you know, in the movie Aladdin, where it's like you're going into that great treasure chest and it's like, touch nothing but the lamp. Anyway, so essentially I got shown the entire treasure. And the test was, now you've got all the power, are you willing to renounce it? So, and you're going to have to come across that test at some point too. But let's come back to, with great power comes great responsibility. So, you know how God goes, glorify me, worship me. Look, do you really fucking think the Almighty God, the creator of all heaven and earth, the omnipotent Godhead, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the, you know, I'm just trying to think of a word, the muchness and suchness of existence itself. Let's say in this universe you've got the prism. In the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God, and let's say that Trinity was a prism and the light shot through it, and we've got the different rays of creation, the 12 rays of creation. Let's say that the muchness and suchness of all that is, that's got its archangels in charge of all the different rays. Yeah, just, do you really think, considering this universe, and this is what gets me about these people that want to call themselves chosen. If you're fucking chosen, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Saviour. 144,000, written in the book of Revelations. The Lamb? Oh, anyway, let's get back to it. Lord King of the, you know, Lord King of all creation. Let's get back to it. See, that's just ego getting in a way, trying to go, the universe. Fuck off. The universe is but a speck of sand in the greater beyond of the great beyond. We're just husks of shit, you know? Floating about in the muchness and suchness of eternity. So, it's just like, oh, fuck the universe. The universe is no better than this stinking dirt road. See that dust that just came up as I flicked that then? It's just one piece of dust. You know, for a refracted portion of our greater being. Anyway, don't know where we're going to with that. Let's get back to surrendering our life to God. And, you know, that was it. You know, copping the royal insider of all insides. You know, and we don't need to go too far into it. Just, it is what it is. Now, that was it. Do you really think the almighty muchness and suchness of all creation needs fucking worshipping? Do you really think God needs glory? Do you really think that is the case? No. Really? I think God's doing just fine by himself, by its, you know. But let's have a look at the much larger conundrum. Why would God want the glory? It's so you don't fill your pride with shit. See, God's like, how about you give it to me so you don't inflate your ego? You know, God's your accountability partner. So the key to with great power comes great responsibility is the test of character with, are you willing to hand it over? You know, could you go and find the coolest treasure in all of the world and go, here God, this is yours? Or is it going to possess you? Possessions? There's a difference between possessions and belongings. So these are all a much larger part of the great tests that we go through so that the Lord can ensure that we are prepared to take our seats on the thrones that are awaiting for us. Come on, Maserati. Anyway, so God, yeah. What is praise and worship? It's fucking attention. Look, if I was an almighty, omnipotent, grand creator of all muchness and suchness and everything that's within it, like, as the center of everything, would I want to be praised and worshipped? I think God's a little bit busy serving, giving his living, you know, receiving growth through our experiences, getting deeper levels of objective reasoning, enjoying all the different variable intricacies of, you know, how creation can function through all the different vessels. Like, do you really think this is your only life as whoever your name is? What I don't like is the fact that it doesn't matter how much integrity you've got here, there is you in another life who's a piece of shit. And it doesn't matter what you do. That aspect of you is doing what it's doing, and you've got to come to an acceptance that, you know, the only power you have is in the here and now, in this reality. And you got no business being concerned about what you're doing elsewhere. That is something predetermined by the Creator, because the Creator is after a specific experience in regards to, say, the natural idiosyncrasies of the behaviour that you'll use for the experience of the journey that is just being played out through the butterfly effect of different decisions and choices. Anyway, back to it. Do we really, does God really need praise and worship? God is the only thing in creation that is worthy of praise and worship. Because God is perfect. Everything else falls short. But does God need it? No. Yeah. You've got hierarchies where you've got matriarchs and patriarchs. Well, they both fucked up. Monarch is key. Where you have the king and the queen, and they're held in equal stead. And they both play their role and do what they're supposed to do. This femtardery is a joke, just like this narcissistic egotism from males is a joke. There is a balanced set of laws within creation which allows man and woman to function alongside one another as husband and wife. And they each play their role. Anyway, back to it. So we know that God doesn't need it, but amongst many other things, God is saying, please give it to me so that you don't get full of shit. Because with great power comes great responsibility. Most don't know what to do with power. So power, you know, it's unfortunately, why do you think people lust? What do you think is going on with the orgasm? It's an experience of power momentarily. Anyway, so yeah, all the wealth, all the money, all the power. So if you've got all the land, all the money and all the power, you've become stingy with what you are willingly throwing away. And anyway, essentially a lot in life is most definitely based upon our ability to be able to cope with power. You know, leveling up, going through the Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct. You know, we're just leveling up. It's levels and levels and levels, new levels. But as we go through new levels, there's obviously new devils, but it's about your ability to cope with power. And those new levels of new devils, being able to tolerate the devils that are going to try and steal what power you have. Anyway, that's why we say, with great power comes great responsibility. Anyway, we've gone wayward off on a tangent where this is what happens. We don't think, but coming back to it, you know, surrendering our life over to God. Today, I always do shit that is exceedingly and abundantly over and beyond expectation. And that's not me going, oh, I'm an arrogant prick. No, it's not that. It's just, that's what happens when you surrender your life over to God. Exceedingly and abundantly over and beyond all expectations. You know the movie The Dark Knight, we've got the Joker, Batman and the Joker, but the Joker, you know how he's just like, I think it's Harvey Denton, he's like, you and your plans, and he's like, do I really look like a guy with plans? Fucking flies. He's just like, I just do. There is power in the great surrender of just do. And, you know, through our tangible common sense of our profession, we have a vague idea of what it is we're trying to achieve with the objectives of what we're up against each day. There's that. But it's the speed of the outcome. And today, reason, season, why, I knew that there was something magical coming about the job that I'm doing at the moment, which is a boundary fence. And in one day, I put out 1.5 kilometres of fence posts and got the whole lot in. perfect height. And it looks fantastic. And look, these are one of these things, like it should have taken 3 days, you know, but just, this is what happens. And do you think I could have told you how I was going to do it? No, I just do. So what happens is, you know, I'll have a vague idea about, look, I need to take this tool and that tool and, you know, take enough to be prepared for anything that's get thrown at you. But in general, you know, I'm saying like expect the worst and hope for the best. It's not that. It's just, this is where I had to learn the whole surrender everything over to God, because you just can't make plans. I mean, what would have happened with this job that I'm doing here, and this is what happened up at Sydney with my pump site. That should have taken 2.5 times longer than it took. I'd done it in a record time. Anyway, if I was to go, cool, I'm going to budget my time, and it should take me 3 days to do the posts on that fence. So what happens now that I've done it in a day? You're ahead of time. And so what happens when you're always ahead of time, when you're always ahead of everything that you planned out to do? Like, that's why we can't be that rigid about the life that we choose to pursue, because when God is in control of your life and ultimately unfolding every step of the way for you, you always get shit done more efficiently and quicker than you could have perceived possible. And it always happens. And with that, you can't plan. All you can do is understand that there are seasons and reasons and whys. And within the season, there is a reason. So when it comes to the land, you will have a pretty good idea, not a vague idea. Oh, bugging me. It's no good when you see a car accelerate and like 10 meters of smoke pours out above it. There might be some blown rings in the pistons, maybe. Anyway, back to it. So what would have happened if I actually see? It creates a really hard predicament, a really hard situation. I could tell you, so I'm all about restoration. I will, you know, I'm not saying a little bit of old, a little bit of new, a bit of borrow, a bit of blue. It's not that. It's just I'm really good at restoring and bringing in reinforcements. And whatever was, I will make it so much better than what it was. It will be something else. So I'm a transformer. So what I do, I transform everything. And as I'm doing it, I don't plan to do it. It just always happens in that way. And I couldn't tell you how it's going to happen. I just do shit, and it always works out so much quicker than I thought it was going to happen. Always. Why? Because I am just a paintbrush. God is working through me. That's it. So you've got to get comfortable with not being in control of your own destiny. God is in control of your destiny, right? And ultimately, the bigger decision, you want to come back into like Neo and, you know, the Matrix and all the rest of it, and free will and choice. Ultimately, what are we really fighting over in this world at the moment? Informed consent, the ability to make your own choices. And what the elites and, you know, the 3D bipolar duality that's being ruined at the moment is trying to achieve is enforce rules upon you and tell you that you have no choice and you must comply. No. That's called narcissism. Anyway, we don't need to go too far into that, but victim, villain, hero, it's just stories. It's just it's the dust that they don't want to settle. It's materialism. It's fanaticism. It's the constant rat race. You know? What happens when the story stops? What do you think's going on with the world today? I don't want to get into Eminem. People fighting. Let it go. Let it flow. Let the good times roll. It's stream. Anyway, if everyone could accept that God is in control of their reality and life is a fantastic treasure hunt, and like anything, God knows you so much better than you know yourself. And what gets me is like you sort of like you're a bit iffy about your trust, but then like every time there's an outcome, it's always so much better than you could have made it yourself. And it's just like, of course, and just nothing's wasted. Typically you learn a skill for something, it's for 4 or 5 things down the line, and it's just like it's the efficiency of the life that you live. Nothing is wasted, and you always get the most out of everything. Best bang for your buck. That's what surrendering your life over to God is. And so when you are willing to surrender the power that you may have acquired over to God and go, well, so I learned, when you learn all the spiritual gifts, yeah. We don't need to go into it. Just when you make the decision to no longer do magicianry and actually just go, right, I'm going to be just a white man, I'm going to close down my third eye, and I'm just going to live in this reality, in the here and now, and I'm going to just eat food, I'm going to do weights, and I'm going to be a human. And I'm going to get rid of all that stuff, and I'm going to lay my life down and serve our Lord Jesus Christ. And with that, what happens when you hand all the power over? This is the thing that blew my mind. All heaven now backs you, and all the power that you surrendered, heaven uses on your behalf. Why do you think I was saying, we just do, and we get so much done efficiently? Because since I surrendered my control over, all the power and all the gifts and everything that I had acquired and spent, fucking over a decade learning, and we're talking like really serious shit, I handed it all over, I surrendered, and I was like, cool, I'm not going to use it anymore. And everything that I don't use, God uses on my behalf, and my life is just it's like a kid in a treasure hunt. So I let go of the control of understanding the truth and said, right, God, even though I know how to function in the truth and I know how the truth works, and how do I say this? You can break down the truth and life and get into incremental components where you can actually predict your future. There's all these things that you can do. And predicting your future, or being able to see into the future, we're talking mysticism and all the rest of it, it's hard being a mystic and surrendering all the mysticism over. That's what was hard, because you're trying to live in a world where it's like, it is what it is. Anyway, my functioning is based upon having the comprehension of how all that works. So it's like being a personal trainer. I understand the anatomy and the physiology and the workings behind how things work. And with that, if I would say I was like the soul of the machine, I was like, right, God, you're now the soul of the machine. I'm here to experience what you've got for me. So the decision I made was, I'm no longer in control of my reality or destiny. And with that, God took over, and that was where you become the chosen one, and you end up living the life that God has planned out for you. I would not be where I'm at right now if I'd gone down my own path with my own choices. So through surrendering ourselves over to God, we will become the fullest version in alignment with our highest idiosyncrasies, filled to the rim of our bloodline skills. Like, we are here to be royalty, dead set. And for a lot of us that have got that entrepreneurial gift that could have, could have been moguls, I could have been whatever on earth I wanted to be. But instead, I'm sitting here, taking the dogs for a walk, looking after the land of all these farms that God has gone, right, this is your responsibility. And there's reasons for why I'm here. And that's just between me and the Creator, but God. But I wouldn't have been here. This is God's choice for me to be here. It's just like I had to realize that I will not be happy unless I am with God's choice for me when it comes to a wife. We just, our humanness doesn't make good decisions. So there's a good portion of our reality that we must learn to surrender over to our Father in heaven. And we've got to have faith that God knows us better than we know ourselves, and God knows the type of reality that God wants us to live. And it's very responsible. It's sobering, but we're talking like the good life. We're talking like wealth and abundance over and beyond what you actually thought was possible for yourself. And what God has for us is just the ideas that you thought were possible. I mean, just it took me 10 years to grow into who it is I am right now to be ready to step into what God was wanting me to do. God had plans for me, God has plans for you. But with it, you are going to grow into someone that you didn't even know was possible a decade ago. And who you become is the fullest of your potential, essentially. And there's, it's always onwards and upwards. There's always a next level. There's always greater steps. But like, there hits a point where you become, stately. You become aristocratic. You're at the top of your game. Again and again, like, not even 40, and with the real estate that I look after, there's nowhere else to go in this country. Like, I have landed the top of the top. There's nowhere else to go. And it's just different variations of the top. And like, did I expect that I would be here 10 years ago? Yes. I'm not saying it was like a predisposition. I knew who I was in that context, that I was always destined for greatness, but I didn't expect that I would have hit the top as quick as I did in regards to, what I provide as service to this life. And where my struggle is it's like, well, where to from here? If there was like a ladder to climb, it's like, fuck, it's climbed now. What next? But that's what's happened. No one's in charge of you. You are, captain of your own soul, master of your own destiny, essentially. But like, do you think I could have got here as quickly as I did if I wasn't surrendered to the Almighty? No. And our destiny helpers. I got one in particular. How do I say this? They are a remover of obstacles. Fucking lawyers. Isn't it funny? Like, you've got powerful people and then you've got superpowers. And with the superpower, you've got the legal representatives of the superpowers. And like, when, again, saying like at the top of your game, when you've got people in the legal field that are the veterans who are at the top of their game for years, and they understand all the variable intricacies of the different legalities behind all forms of resource and, and supply and demand and all the rest of it. And they've only got to take a look at something and within a matter of 3 or 4 words, strip all the red tape, and then you continue on. It's just fascinating. And like, see, God blesses us through people, and every time I bring something into completion, this particular individual turns up and they don't know what they're about to do, but purely through their words, 3 or 4 words is all they have to say, boom, I've been opened up for another 18 months worth of whatever it is my next goal is to achieve. So, yeah, it's like, our shit's gift wrapped. All my stuff is gift wrapped in red tape, and it takes a lawyer to unwrap it. Anyway. And when it happens, you're just like, holy shit. See, I'm an eagle. And it doesn't matter how much you grow as an eagle. It's just like, these lawyers, they are albatrosses. You know what I mean? They're the ones that they represent the states and the nations. And it's just, they're so wise and powerful and knowledgeable, and just their presence is just, they're leaders. You got genuine leaders. Yeah. No, there's crusty politics nowadays where it's all fight, dog eat dog, fight each other all the way to, no, none of that crap. You've got people that have a genuine presence who could stand in front of 10,000 people and the whole lot would just sit there and honour that person because they are astute and at the top of their game and highly respected. Anyway, it's bizarre being around that stuff. See, I've lived in that stuff for a few years now, and it's just like the osmosis of it is you become very grounded. Anyway, I didn't expect it at such a young age, really. So, God has plans for us beyond what we can comprehend. And just don't limit what you think is going to happen down to, so say for example, you're like, I'm just going to, what is it, Trend Genius? He was like, if you're a teacher, expect to become the superintendent for the region. Just don't think that your upgrade's going to be small. Again, let's say you're managing a car company. There may be an executive position open up that you may take the seat of. So, like you've got some people, like, where they could say you're dreaming. Yeah. I am one of the few people that could actually say one day I will probably lead this country. Do I want to? No. But everything that I've learnt would state that it is the case. The path that I've taken, the people that I've been around, what it is that I've done, the journey that I've been on. Yeah. And it may just be on this. It may be Commonwealth level. And that's just, naturally stating that what happens when you are at the top of your game and you've been there, let's say for a decade, and it's like, cool, so what now? Very possible to become a world leader. And I'm pretty sure that, if you're watching this, you may be on that path too in 10 years' time from where it is you're at right now, if you don't feel like that may be the case already. But if you can see that there is an aspiration for greatness and you can see that there is something more coming into your life, you may be getting lined up for something along those lines. It's like the whole thing, if you got it, you don't need it. If you need it, you probably just don't bloody well got it. It's like the Goodwill Hunting syndrome. Do you know how nice it is just farming cows and not having to worry about humans? But I know that that's not going to be forever, unfortunately or fortunately. Do you really think God's going to spend all this time investing in us, like all these skills and this intelligence, like God did with Solomon, and then not expect that there will be a reward for the investment. You know, I want to talk to you about blessings though. Yeah. Again and again and again, we need to get over this in 3 days bullshit. I'm not going to say I'll believe it when I see it. I want to get beyond that. You're on your own path, and when you hear within 3 days, there could be fucking 10,000 other people that hear that, and one person within that, something happens within 3 days. Was that for them? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but that bullshit, it's just bullshit. We are all on our own path. And you know, I think amongst other things, the devil can use that shit to play on people's lottery thinking. But what it does, you get your constant hopes up, hopes up, hopes up, hopes up. You need to kill your hopes. Kill them off. You know? Just be expectant, kill off hopes. Really good thing to do. And keep an eye on the bigger prize. And as things present to you and you start to see the bigger picture and you're following the path that's been laid out for you, be discerning. But just get rid of hopes. I'm saying like hopes and dreams, it's good to have it or not, but just like, this hype, kill the hype. That's just the dust. Let it settle. Get rid of the fanaticism. Stay grounded. Anyway, God has plans for you, and it's already predestined. I can tell you this because what God had laid out for me had been sitting in place for nearly 100 years. It's just unbelievable, the effort that has been put into place, ready for us to turn up and endure our journey for the path that the Lord has laid out for us. Just the most miraculous things that you can barely fathom could have happened. Just everything. Like the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, where the second one, when they turn up and meet Caspian for the first time, and all their stuff sitting downstairs, and they're like, he must know what he's doing. Yeah, God knows what he's doing. And that's the type of journey that we are on. There's a bigger thing. There is something bigger coming and happening. Anyway, get good at not thinking. Get good at functioning in the here and now, and just allow God to work through you. In the moment. How do I say this? Because you might be struggling to grab what I'm talking about. The best thing to get good at being in the moment is jump on a ride-on lawnmower or get a hedge trimmer, a whippersnipper, and just start doing the edges. Or pruning trees. The other year I pruned 3,500 trees in 2 months. And by myself. Anyway, those in the moment, it could be like shearing sheep or, just cutting grass or just cleaning, mopping floors. But get in the here and now, and you don't know how it is you're going to accomplish what needs to be achieved. There is just a bigger picture that must be accomplished. So say, for example, you cleaning swimming pools. You walk up to a pool, the pool's dirty. You know that it needs to be cleaned, so the result is get it clean. How you get it clean, you'll only figure that out as each step presents itself. You could walk into a room and there is a floor that needs to be mopped. How do you do it? Start mopping. Let it unfold. It's the whole not being willing to take the first step, which is what cripples most from being able to achieve anything. Just take the first step and just allow it to unfold, and have faith that how it's unfolding will allow you to achieve the result that you're trying to get to. Go and mow the lawn. It's just like washing the dishes. What do you think? There has to be some sort of chronological order. Just do it. Once the dishes are washed, the dishes are washed. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Cleanliness is but next to godliness. Anyway, that's enough for today. Learn to just be and function in the moment and just do. And the more you stop thinking, the more your higher self will take over, and you will literally just be a vessel in awe of how everything unfolds for you. Life becomes a treasure hunt. And for me, it is so much more enjoyable knowing that God's in control of my life than having to sit down and constantly do yearly planning. I just wake up each day and do shit. and always get everything done. Surrender it over. It'll be the best decision you ever make. The stress levels that you have will drop 100-fold because, you know, it's like a sign that said 2 cockatoos fly past. If you've done all you can and then you surrender it over to God for the day and say, right, God, so this is where I'm at, and it's just like, cool, you're in charge of the rest. If you're the executive, you've handed it to the CEO to unfold the order for you. Anyway, there is no greater blessing than handing it all over to God. I hope you have a good day. Bye for now.